Okay, so from the capital, we're going to move on to the Midlands.
Yeah, Midlands League, 2 semi-finals took place this week. We went to one of them, and all I can say about the Midlands League this year, it's been absolutely incredible. It's been one of the strongest divisions, certainly since I've been involved in Midlands Rugby. Nottingham Outlaws defeated Birmingham Bulldogs 20 points to 8, and then we had a similar scoreline, Telford Raiders defeating Sherwood Wolf Hunt at home. I think it's 20 points to 12 or 2014 or something. Yeah, 20 points to 12 it was. Sounds like 2 incredible games, topping off an incredible season, and I can't wait for the final, Craig. I really can't wait for this final. Yeah,
it's been this crescendo towards the end of the season has been building for a good few years. You know, we had to establish Rugby League in the Midlands had to establish itself as a strong league over the last couple of seasons. That then encouraged Sherwood and Nottingham to drop down into this, not drop down, that's not what I mean, but move left from the Yorkshire Leagues into the Midlands League, you know, and then it's formed this really competitive league, which we've enjoyed watching throughout the season. We've had, I think every team has kind of won and lost against teams that you wouldn't kind of expect, and it's all led to a final where it's hard to call, really.
Yeah, it were an incredible season last year. It was a really high standard last year, and then having the 2 Nottinghamshire sides come into the division this year has just made it even stronger. And there is a shift happening in community rugby league, believe it or not. I've spoke to quite a lot of people that were there who've been involved in the Midlands clubs who have taken part in the Yorkshire divisions, and they're saying that actually the Yorkshire divisions, they are not thriving, they're not growing. And you know, if you're not growing, you're dying, aren't you? It's one of your sayings, that is.
Yeah.
The Midlands League isn't dying, it's just getting stronger and stronger every year. So there is that shift is happening, and people and we know how strong the community game is down south. So the game is thriving outside the heartlands. I genuinely believe that, and this weekend's final is going to be an absolute ripper.
Yeah, it definitely is. I won't be there. However, you're hoping to get there. What's your expectations, Carl? Can you call it at all?
You know what? I can't call it. I genuinely can't call it. Obviously, we used to play for Telford, so we see Telford play a little bit more. They're more local to us. I saw Nottingham play Telford earlier on in the season. I thought Nottingham was a stronger side. Their game management's really good. They're really well coached side. But Telford started slow and have got better. Honestly, I can't call it. It's going to be a great game. There's going to be a massive crowd there. I know Aston are doing a load of hard work. So it's going to be at Aston, who is another brand new club in the Midlands. They've got, they're having the final at their ground. There's going to be loads of people there. It's going to be a cracking occasion.
Yeah, and we caught up with both head coaches, Joe Shepherd of Nottingham Outlaws and also Nathan Parker of Telford Raiders. So let's hear from them now. Now we've got Joe Shepherd, the head coach of Nottingham Outlaws. You were successful at the weekend and have secured your place in the Midlands final. You must be quite excited there, Joe.
Yeah, we're delighted. We played Birmingham in the league about a month ago and managed to blow a 24-point lead against them. They came back and won 28-24. After a brilliant comeback. So looking into the weekend, we were determined to try and put that right, and we knew Birmingham had come with a strong team and give us a real good test, and we managed to get the win, and we're all absolutely delighted that we're in the final at the weekend.
Joe, just talk me through the semi-final a bit then, if you can. How did the game unfold?
It's a bit of a blur, to be honest. I've got a clear memory of the second half. I can't remember who took the lead in the first half. I think they might have scored first. But they've just got lots of big, strong, athletic runners. And if you let them too close to your line, they'll get over the try line. So I think it was about nip and tuck, and I think it was fairly level at half time. And then they had us under the cosh quite a bit at the start of the second half, and we were putting a lot of pressure on our line. And luckily we held out. I say luckily, the lads defended really well. We held out and were able to complete some sets and get some territory down the other end of the field, and then eventually were able to get a couple of tries and hold them off at the end as they were trying to come back into it.
Great stuff. Joe, it's your sort of first season. I did speak to you earlier on in the year. It's your first season back into the Midlands division this year. Generally, how have you found the standard of play, and how's it really compared to the Yorkshire divisions that you were in previously?
It's different. It's different style of rugby, really. What we thought would be the case, and what's proved to be the case, is that every team has got quality rugby players in, athletic lads who can pass, run, kick, and probably the standard of general rugby skills and athleticism is probably higher than in the Yorkshire League that we're in. But in the Yorkshire League, you'll come up against these teams with these old boys who've played rugby league for years and know how to run a game. So it's just a different style of rugby, really. Like, I think probably athletically and physically, and the rugby skills with the Midlands teams probably higher. But then there's some rugby league nous with those Yorkshire teams that's probably higher. So it's just a different type of rugby. And what we've found is every team, if you underestimate them, you're going to get beaten. And you can see from the league table that everybody's been beating each other. So if you go into a game and you're not quite on it, you're going to get turned over. So we've really enjoyed it. It's been a really good standard for us. And if we've not played well, we've got beaten. And if you've got to be on your game, really, otherwise you'll get turned over.
Yeah, that game management was really evident, we thought, from the sidelines when you played Telford Raiders early on in the season. We thought that your team, yourself, managed that game much better and then ended up with a win. So can definitely see that. You've also had some success with your women's team. Do you think you're going to be playing on that a little bit to enthuse the lads?
Go for the double.
Well, yeah, hopefully. I mean, the women did a brilliant job yesterday. It was a really good day. We had 4 teams over at Nottingham, Leamington, Coventry, Telford, and ourselves. And some great rugby. Unfortunately, there was a serious injury to one of the Leamington players, which meant that the final game had to be cut short. But really good afternoon's rugby, and the women have definitely inspired the men's team. We've got to go on and try and match their standard that they set yesterday.
So, Joe, looking towards the final next week, what can we expect from a Nottingham Outlaws side, and what do you think we can expect from the Telford side?
Well, that game we played against Telford, you could see Telford putting some really good attacking shape on and putting some good plays together. And we knew they were going to get better. And I think they've proved that with, losing the first 2 games and then bouncing back and finishing top of the table. I think that's a great credit to the Telford club and the coaching staff and the players that they've bounced back and just seem to have improved throughout the season as the season's gone on. So we're expecting it to be a real tough game next week, and we're going to have to make sure we respect the basics of the game. We're going to have to complete well. We're going to have to defend well, and if we do that, we'll hopefully put ourselves in with a chance. But we know it's going to be a real tough game at the weekend. Who
do you think in your squad, in your opinion, really deserves to be in a final this year?
Oh, that's a tough question. I mean, I'm gonna. The lads have all done really well, but I'm going to pick one bloke because our captain, Corin Ward, has just been phenomenal. He's been captain, I think, for 3 or 4 seasons now, and I really want us to get a win on Saturday for him because he deserves it, because his leadership's been fantastic. We've also had a brilliant captain for the women's team in the past few years with somebody called Violet Coppin, who's been brilliant. And you couldn't have wished for 2 better captains. And Violet stepped away this year, and Riz Lord has taken over the captaincy of the women's team, and she's done an absolutely fantastic job as well. So we've been really lucky at Nottingham with the people we've had leading the teams. And I think, Corin really deserves a day in the sun at the weekend. So hopefully we can get the win for him. But all the players have been great, and I think after it's been a long time between drinks, for us being in finals, we've not been in a final for years. So hopefully the lads can enjoy it and put a good performance in at the weekend.
Joe, thank you for calling in. Look, congratulations to your women's side on the victory at the weekend. Well-earned league win there. And good luck at the weekend. I think it promises to be one of the most exciting Midlands finals we've had for years. I know the league this year has been incredible, so I can't wait to go down and watch it. It's going to be an ace afternoon. And at the minute, I'll be honest with you, I prefer to go watch Midlands Rugby than I do Super League, and that says something. It's been a cracking season.
Well, hopefully we can do the business and put on a good show for you at the weekend, and you won't be disappointed.
Best of luck, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you very much, chaps.
Cheers.
Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.
An interview with Nathan Parker, who's the head coach of the Telford Raiders. They beat Sherwood Wolf Hunt at the weekend and have secured their place in the Midlands final. So thanks for joining us, Nath.
No worries, mate.
Opening season for you as a head coach. How's it gone?
Well, obviously back-to-back finals. Start of the season didn't go quite to plan. We lost the first two games. First one was to Sherwood. They beat us by about 16 points up at theirs. And then the second game at home to lose to Nottingham. Obviously, we got in the final by 2 points. It was a bit of a back down to earth with a bump kind of thing. And then since then, the lads have, I don't know whether realised this league wouldn't be as easy as, well, not easy as it was last year, but it was more competitive. And then they just seem to be getting better and better.
Did you make any sort of changes after those couple of games in training, or how you prepared for the games?
Not how we prepared for the games. In training, I think what me, Joe, Denham and Martin just spoke about, just going back to basics. I think we got maybe a little bit excited and we were just like, yeah, let's do this, let's do that. And we kind of skipped over the basics, and it probably cost us in the first two games, really. And then turning point was we went and did just a little contact drill and worked some contact. And I think going into contact, especially in a home game, we're so dominant. Like the forwards just front up, and it puts us on the front foot every game.
Nathan, over the last, as long as I can remember, you've been like a big part of Telford Raiders' success as a player. What's it been like making that shift from a player to a coach?
It's been enjoyable, but also very difficult because, one game you can have to put someone on the bench that you other than being rugby friends, you're probably best friends with outside of rugby, and that's the most difficult one. And then you've got to think about players' feelings if they do get dropped and speaking to them. And I probably have upset a few people this season, and obviously everything's just a learning curve, but it's been exciting, and obviously just staying around the team, it's been good. It's been good.
Nathan, looking towards Nottingham then, like you say, you played them earlier on in the year. I was actually there for that game. I thought it was a really tough game, two very evenly matched sides. I thought Nottingham controlled the game a little bit better than you guys. I think that's fair to say. Do you think the Raiders have sort of learnt as the season's gone on how to sort of grind the wins out?
I totally got us. They did control the game. They come down to us and they dominated us. They put a show on and they just controlled the game. We made so many, you like to call them coach killers, and it did kill us in the end, and they won by 2 points. But since then, we are grinding out results. I obviously wasn't there at Sherwood, but to grind out a win against them at home, it is good. Some of the lads are very still new to the game. We're probably running with 6 or 7 debut seasons again, and they're learning each week, and you can see that they're actually getting better and better each week as well, which is only a positive to have.
Nathan, who out of those players sort of deserves a little bit of a mention in the run up to the final?
Well, I've got two of them that, Tommy Woods flew back over from America to help us out again when he's on his half term from college, or he's trying to rearrange his flight at the moment, so he goes back on Sunday, so he's available for the final. But Harry Stokes, who I think he's played 6 of these 8 games now, he just seems to be getting better and better. It was just a random text saying, I've seen you play at Hornets, do you fancy coming down and giving it a go? And he just seems to thrive in it. Reece McAllister, apparently was close to getting man of the match on Saturday. He's played 5 or 6 games and he wished he played sooner now. There's just little core players of the team that are really stepping up, and they are getting better and better.
Nathan, I just want to say good luck for the weekend. I'm sure it's going to be a tough match, but I think you've got a lot to play for in being the current holders of the title.
Yeah, well, we've got to look at it pressure's on us to regain it, but then pressure's on them because they beat us earlier on the season. So it sure will be a great game to watch.
Nath, thank you for calling in, mate. We appreciate it. Best of luck.
No worries, pal.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Both very, very excited for this match. Not going to leave any stone unturned.
Yeah.
Interesting to hear some of those players that deserve a bit of recognition deserve to be in a final. So, a couple of ones that Raiders mentioned, we know they're sort of established rugby union players. Great to for them to be involved in a final. Hopefully we'll keep all them for many years to come. But there's also a little bit of women's news in the Midlands as well.
Well, yeah, the women's division, it wasn't a final as in a traditional final this year. So they've been playing their weeks as almost like festivals. So you've got 4 teams taking part in each festival. So it was like the last game of the season. So the 2 semi-finals took place. It were Nottingham Outlaws versus Telford Raiders and Leamington Royals against Coventry Bears in the other semi-final. Nottingham came out on top. They progressed to the final, and Leamington won the other semi-final against Coventry, and Nottingham took the title. Nottingham are the winners of the Women's League, so congratulations to them. I know they've worked incredibly hard developing that Women's League women's team over a number of years. It's not just a new flash in the pan, but great to see the second year of the Women's Midlands League, and it's continued to thrive. And there are a couple of teams on the outskirts as well now. There's I know the Midlands Hurricanes have pretty much got a full squad, so I think they'll hoping to be pushing into that league next year. So yeah, another fine example of the Midlands Rugby thriving. So we also had the conclusion of the Scottish division this week. We had Mikey Mayer on from Edinburgh Eagles, didn't we, last week? They defeated Glasgow 30 points to 24. It was an incredibly close game, and it went down to the last play of the game. Their scrum half got the winning try, snatched it at the death. So congratulations to Edinburgh Eagles on being the Scottish champions, yeah.
Amazing.